Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the instant match reaction after Liverpool progressed to the fourth round of the FA Cup with a 4-1 victory over Aston Villa. I'm joined by Ross Chandley for this one, where we're going to discuss some of the key things from the game, I suppose, more than anything, Ross. And, obviously Liverpool have a great start in the game. Sadio Mane scores a header inside 5 minutes and Liverpool get off to a great start. It's 1-0 and everyone's thinking, yes, 8-0 to Liverpool Football Club. It didn't quite work out like that though, Ross. In fact, the first half was also pretty shit.
Yeah, it was very poop. It's just been a mad 24 hours, isn't it, Chris, of what the fuck is going on, whether the game will go ahead in the first place. And then I fell into this trap of, we're playing the kids, piece of piss. Doesn't always work out like that, although it did last year when we played them. Our kids got their asses handed to them. Not helped by the fact you go a goal up pretty early, and then you pretty much think, a goal every 5 minutes will do us very nicely. Aston Villa's kids had different ideas. Fair play to them. They defended resolutely. Liverpool, I think, I'm not sure whether Liverpool were baffled or just, I don't know, maybe it's game management, or I have no idea, of just lobbing crosses into the box when we didn't need to, rather than taking time. And we're normally really good at that. We're already goal ahead, we don't need to push for a second one. In desperation, we can work it, we can tire them out, we can make them chase the ball, and just felt like we were pushed out wide to the flanks, and it was just, let's see if it's Camino, who's about 3 foot, can get on the end of it. Surprisingly, didn't work.
No, but what's funny is obviously Sadio Mane plays the 9 there tonight, and Minamino's playing off on the left-hand side, and the first goal comes from a cross. So I'm thinking back.
Sadio second.
Yeah, and Sadio second is a header as well from Shaqiri. So I'm not making excuses here, and I don't think you should ever get into a position where you are making excuses for a side, but the first goal came from a cross. Kurt Jones whips a ball in, Sadio Mane scores a header, and we go 1-0 up. So you could almost understand at times why Liverpool did cross the ball, but I think you're right. Yeah. It wasn't working, and we needed to change things up, which we did later on. But
that major difference was Curtis Jones, and I think you said it on comms. Like he got 2-3 yards, and he can look up and he can pick a cross out. That's the major difference. Not a Nico Williams or James Milner or everybody else, in fact, of just going, well, I'll just throw it in there and see what happens. Same with the second Sadio one, which I think was difficult because the defender just jumps kind of right in front of him, but it's working out where the space is and who's in space to kind of pick someone out. I think someone else in the comments maybe said we miss Robertson, because he provides that. He can pick someone out from where he is on the left-hand side rather than just lashing it in, and the amount of bodies that Villa got back, whether it's through panic, whether it was planned, whether they just tried to nullify Liverpool, which they did at times. We're quite happy for Liverpool to cross that ball in.
No, I think you're right. But the first half, again, I'm not making excuses here and don't feel like I am, and apologies if it comes across like that, but if the Wijnaldum chance where it just goes over Taki Minamino, and he gets that under the bar and it bounces nicely for him, ifs and buts, of course. If the Fabinho one's not brilliantly saved, if the Mane one that follows up that Fabinho chance isn't brilliantly saved, it's 2-0 or potentially 3-0. I know it doesn't work like that. And everything's going to plan, but they don't go in. And then they come down and hit us on a counter-attack. Now, the problem I've got with that is Rhys Williams has played centre-half for us and he was bullied by a young lad, and a brilliant technical goal and fair play to Villa, but that's the disappointing thing for me, is how easily we conceded. For all the possession that we'd had and all the opportunities and the chances and the saves the keeper makes, we conceded too easily again, which has been... It's been a bit of a story of our season. We concede quite easy goals sometimes.
Yeah, I think you can look at it in two ways: a positive or a negative. Funny enough, is it a negative because we conceded that goal because it's easy, because they had 2 chances within that whole game and scored 1 out of them. I know it's the build up that we spoke about in that. I think Curtis Jones is bypassed too easily. It's a goal from the goalkeeper, past our midfield and straight in, and it's a goal against Aston Villa's kids. Now,
was it Kurt or was it Hendo?
I think it was Kurt. I might be wrong. We'll watch them back and we'll say later. But it's too easy against Aston Villa's kids. Now, this isn't a discredit to them because they can only play what's in front of them. But if you're playing Manchester United up next and you're doing that, you're playing Tottenham in a few weeks, you're playing Manchester City, or most of the teams in the Premier League, and you defend like that, you're going to get punished. So the positive on that is, I'm hoping, does it highlight even further that we need a centre-back? But,
that's the thing.
I
mean, it does, and I wanted to do this on the final word actually. But let's talk about it here because I think it's pertinent, and you've brought it up as well. Is that Listen, I like Reece Williams, young lad, not the finished article, going to become better than he is right now, but he's not good enough right now to be Liverpool's centre-half, and that's no slight on Reece here. He's a young lad, but it just highlights that he's not ready.
Yeah. Look at the other youngsters in that side. Curtis Jones, he's earned his stripes. He's been tested in FA Cup games in early rounds, in Carabao Cup games in previous seasons in early rounds. Test the waters, dip your toe in, see if you're good enough, play regularly, go to Qatar, go and do this, go and bed yourself in properly. Trent was the same. Okay, he got in, because the Clown was injured, but got his chance, was bedded in slowly. Reece Williams has gone from here to here. A youth player to you playing Premier League football because there's no one else. He hasn't had that progression. And everyone expects the same standards because of those other youth players that have done so well. So automatically, Reece should be as good as Curtis Jones. Reece should be as good as Trent, but he's not had that level of progression, stability, and gains where, to be quite honest, aren't as important. Now, you're being thrust into an FA Cup game, okay, against kids. He should do better in that situation. But other games, Atalanta, he made a mistake in that game as well. I think he either didn't drop with everybody else.
He left his man then, didn't he?
But exactly. Champions League football, he's fucking 19 and inexperienced. It's going to happen. He should be nowhere near this team, not a slight on him. Liverpool should have central defender in there, and he should be fourth choice, and go, actually, we can bring him for 10 minutes here, get used to your teammates, your surroundings, and do whatever. I think he's made a mistake tonight, which, again, he'll learn from.
The positives as well to be taken out of the game, and I think, obviously, Jürgen says words at half-time, and they're very strong words, and you probably can't say them on here, even though you could say them on here, because you can say pretty much anything you fucking want on here. But Jürgen says words, and we come out second half, and we play much better. But the sub that changes, obviously, it was an agreed substitution, Jürgen said in his post-match press conference. The idea was always 45 for Hendo, 45 for Thiago. Thiago comes on, my word, what a player. I mean, he's just brilliant. He just changes the game. Instead of passing it sideways and waiting for opportunities to present themselves, he goes and makes opportunities with his passes, doesn't he?
Yeah, and again, that's been a story of Liverpool's past 3 or 4 games, maybe. I think we saw it when he played against Southampton of what he can bring, but also it's just that... It's the speed in the transition. Like you said, not waiting for something, and then you're not waiting for in this case, Villa to get back and get bodies back, and then kind of nullify your options. It's quick. There's a threaded pass. There's a lob pass. There's a little dinked chip pass to someone else, and because of that, he's then unpredictable. So everybody's got to be alert to what's going on around them to see if you can pick someone out or not. And I think maybe our forwards expect that. So maybe I struggle to think what Jordan Henderson did in that game. In terms of getting the ball forwards, and in that sense, I don't think he was shit. I just, when you compare it to what Thiago, the effect he had on the game, maybe Salah goes, well, I can make this run now because I know Thiago can pick me out. Salah, I'll make this run, I'll do that. I'll come short for it because, wherever I am, we've got players around me. He can pick me out. It wasn't even that. Like, Thiago, one moment, Thiago had 3 players around him, and I thought, and the ball just appears out of nowhere from this crowd of people, and it's out to the right-hand side. Well, then you're taking 3 players out of the game, and you played it to someone else who's then going to, create something from it.
The perfect one for me, the perfect example of that is, it was Mo Salah's goal. Yeah, it was Mo Salah's goal. So Thiago has the ball at the centre of the park, to the right-hand side, and he obviously plays the ball through to Shaqiri, and Shaqiri hits Salah, and Salah goal, blah, blah, blah. But it's the fact that everybody on the pitch, apart from Shaqiri, thought the ball was going to Nico Williams. Yeah. He'd sort of feinted it, give him the eyes, and then plays that ball back inside almost to Shaqiri. And then what's great about the Shaqiri one, having now watched it back, Ross, is that Salah's pointing where he wants it. He wants the ball behind him. So for once he's expecting it, and he gets the ball where he's expecting it. Yeah. And then he turns and then he shoots and gets that game off. And it's that type of forward thinking from Thiago that makes it a lot easier. Shaqiri as well was brilliant. 2 assists on the night. Knocking on the door for a Manchester United appearance. There's loads of talk in the chats about Manchester United and should Shaqiri start. On performances like that, it's tough to say no. But equally, we've got 3 lads in Firmino, Salah and Mane, who are all playing well. Mane gets 2 goals tonight. Salah gets a goal, not quite playing as well as the others. I think that's fair to say at the moment.
Yeah. On the Shaqiri stuff, I can see why there's an argument for him because he's shown perfectly well why he can do it. But again, as I said before, it could be the case he's not available. It could be the case he won't even be on the bench, for whatever reason or whatever's going on. I like the fact we've got an option there, which we've not had in the past few weeks, which I think has been detrimental to our results. Mm-hmm. We spoke about Diogo Jota not being there. Well, your front 3 have given everything that they've got in a game, the past couple of games. What have you got on your bench? nothing. Maybe Divock Origi, but he's not exerted himself in the past few weeks. Having Shaqiri on changes the game. Yep. Having Shaqiri, you can change your formation a little bit. You can move other people around, bring other people into play, go 4-2-3-1 maybe, and have him out there. But it's that again, a bit like Thiago really with those the vision. What we lack sometimes. I think Shaqiri's got that in bundles. So if he is to start against Manchester United, I don't think he'll have a major problem with it.
No, I mean, I say he gets 2 assists. He gets the assist from Mo. He gets the assist from Mane's second header of the game as well. That's a brilliant ball. It's perfectly weighted. Great finish by Sadio Mane to loop that ball over the goalkeeper. Felt a little bit sorry for the goalkeeper. He's got no chance. He looks a bit stupid on that one, but he played really well throughout the entire game. And again, we've got to credit Aston Villa. The Reds did drop when they conceded the second and third goals, but they then came back into it again. So, yeah, massive credit for Aston Villa and their kids tonight.
I think that's where they got their goal from, basically, because we were having shots, we were having chances, and everything was going wide, or they were getting a block on it, or the goalkeeper was saving them, by the one that was kicked out of his hands. That plays into their confidence and go, well, we're half an hour in, and we're only 1-0 down. Let's go forward a little bit and kind of see what happens. And again, like I said, they took their chance, and fair play to them. Was
there any other players that really stood out for you tonight? I thought Nico Williams did well.
James Milner as well. I thought, I said in the player rating, slightly predictable, in cutting in on his right hand side, because that's what he always does. But again, I think is the game.
He's playing with Taki on that left as well.
Yeah,
I can't imagine he's played with Taki.
No,
he's played left back loads of times.
Yeah. But again, that plays into the just crosses kind of lofted in, and maybe wasn't sure what to do. But then I think as the game opened up and we went 2-3 goals ahead, Villa came out a little bit, and they got a bit tired, and the spaces became a bit better, so his passing got better. Same with Nico Williams. I thought he grew into the game. He's doing a little twists and turns on the inside of the edge of the box. Then he's got Shaqiri, a pair of fresh legs to come and help him out as well, which I think played into that as well. It's hard with Nico Williams, and probably all of them, because we were playing kids. So Nico Williams is a kid against the kid, against the kid, effectively, which is fine. But we haven't seen much of him lately, so it's hard to compare that performance to. But you shouldn't take anything away from him.
Just
really.
Briefly, because it's going to be a few days now until we do the Manchester United build-up show, and I think this game is intrinsically linked with the Man United game because we played a strong side, because I think there's a 9-day gap for that Manchester United game now. We've talked already today about Henderson and Thiago having 45 each. When you think about that United midfield, and I don't want to talk about anything else other than the midfield, the 3 most senior players for Liverpool right now available for that game, as things currently stand, are Thiago, Henderson and Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
We've missed Henderson when he's not played in midfield. Have we missed Henderson in the 8 as well as missing him in the 6 over the last week or so? I think, we didn't put a great performance in tonight, Henderson. Thiago can play the 6. Do you play Henderson in the 8? Do you play that 3-man midfield against United?
I'd play that 3-man midfield, and I'd argue both of those cases. Different games and different scenarios. I think Henderson's. I think he's possibly not been outperformed, but just underperformed by his own standards recently, as of Liverpool in recent games. And when I talk about Henderson in the 8, I'm talking about the penetration, the drive forward, the sense of urgency that he gives to other players. That wasn't there for me for West Brom, arguably Newcastle, and obviously wasn't there for Southampton because he was in defence. When you play him in the 6, we spoke about before on commentary, well, it hinders what Trent's doing, because Trent can't get forward because Henderson can't fill that space, as was highlighted against Crystal Palace, because Henderson's already in defence. So wherever you put him in, wherever you don't put him, you miss him, essentially. So hopefully Matip is fit for Manchester United, so we can play Henderson in midfield in whatever role that may be. Thiago, we discussed before, doesn't have the same role as Jordan Henderson, or hasn't learnt the same role because he hasn't been around long enough to play games to understand his teammates. So he just brings you so much more, but he helps bring more to other departments.
Okay, dead quickly then. Thiago 6, Hendo 6. Against United. Hendo. For that filling in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold, filling in behind Andy Robertson style part of his game. I can totally agree with that, and then get Thiago in that sort of 8, attacking midfielder position, picking out passes, trying to see where we go from there. He's not going to play it in the same way as Henderson. He's not going to get down the outside, down the wings and stuff. But yeah, I think Henderson and being able to stifle those counter-attacks is probably the most important thing when we think about Manchester United. I just saw a comment actually on YouTube from FPL Skills who says Hendo and Thiago are players that we need to play at the moment. One brings leadership and the other creativity, which is a great point as well. So yeah, and Joe Woolfall has just joined as a club captain. Joe, thank you very much for joining, mate. You will get the final word. It'll be me, it'll be Ross, and it'll be Ben Kelly later on this evening. I think we're going to go for about 11:30, 11:45, something like that. So if you're still up and you're still around, we've got 45 minutes to an hour where we properly dive in depth and detail into this game. That is part of your membership, Joe, so thank you very much for joining us. Ross, that has been the Instant Match Reaction. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for everyone who's watched at home. Thank you for anyone who's subscribed or commented or liked or anything. You're all absolutely legends. Thankfully, Liverpool didn't get the pants pulled down by Aston Villa, and we do progress to the 4th round of the FA Cup. We'll see you later on for the final word, so please, if you're a YouTube member, join us.